Good evening. My name is Ray Dwyer, and this is Dr. Joe Dispenza's Meditation and Book Discussion Group. Tonight, we are discussing Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, chapters 9 and 10. This is part 3 of the book, Stepping Toward Your New Destiny. Chapter 9 is titled The Meditative Process. And this part of the process we'll be talking about tonight is the induction and preparation, the first part of the process, of a two-part process that Dr. Joe kind of constructs most of his meditations through. And I read from page 219. As I stated earlier, the main purpose of meditation is to remove your attention from the environment, your body, and the passage of time so that what you intend, what you think, becomes your focus instead of the externals. You can then change your internal state independent of those outside worlds. Meditating is also a means for you to move beyond your analytical mind so that you can access your subconscious mind. And that is his very plain language, the purpose of meditation, to move beyond this analytical mind and change your internal programs of your subconscious mind. Easy to say, not always easy to do. You can then work on anything that you want to change in your life. For me, when I started, my big change was to deliver me from years of cancer treatment. And learning how to do that, I've learned how to heal myself from a few different things. So each of us have a different purpose. Each of us want to change something. I mean, when you pick up a book that says Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, you're looking for something in your life to help you change. There's a scripture that says it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich man to go in the kingdom. In a very layman interpretation, for me, that means if you're satisfied with your life, it's very hard to break habits because you go, why? Why should I bother doing the work? I'm happy. I'm rich. I've succeeded. My family's whole. What do I need to do? Well, that's because you haven't learned what I've learned about what's on the other side of that gate. I'm telling you, if you ever touch what's on the other side of that gate like I have, you will work the rest of the days to do it more, do it again, and do it more. It is just a mind-altering, life-changing event. It's easier to comprehend and execute any new skill when by repetition you can master one small task or produce at a time, and the next move the next. So we're going to take his meditations apart. And I know some of you have been meditating for years, but we're going to learn Dr. Joe's ways. There's so many, and they all have some effect to them, some benefit to them. I'm not here to criticize any of them because I know they do them because they affect some to some degree, right? I mean, that's why people do them, and that's why it's taught, and that's why people pay to learn it, because there is some effect to them. But we're here tonight to learn very foundationally what it is Dr. Joe does, why he does it, and we'll progress through the rest of the book, adding to it so that you really understand the what and the why that Dr. Joe does these rather strange meditations. You know, I've been asked many times, why is he yelling at me? What is space? Right? Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah, I know. I laugh like that because those were my challenges. Like, Golly, guy, chill out. All right. But we'll learn about that. I don't know if I'll be able to answer why he yells at it. I can. There's a book called Evolve Your Brain. And some of these questions you might have, this book doesn't answer, but Evolve the Brain is. It's actually his first book, and it is a challenging read. So if you're kind of a heady kind of guy that likes books that will challenge you, get Dr. Joe's book. If you search some bookstore for Dr. Joe, you'll find his first book is a science book. It's called Evolve Your Brain. Okay. So that will answer some questions that I won't be answering over the next few weeks. So I got the book because I got this far and just like, what is he talking about? I had to find out, is it really founded on something? And so I got the book, Evolve Your Brain, and it was a challenging read. There's no mysticism in it. There's no meditations in it. It is a technical study of why Dr. Joe does what he does scientifically. Technically, it's full of reports of EEGs and FREGs and MI, all kind of reports and charts and bells and whistles. And when you're done, you'll know that he does not do anything by chance. Even now in conferences, he has groups of people wearing EEG helmets and stuff. And anytime he produces a new meditation, he has groups wear those headgears so that he can understand, so that people can't just go, oh, that felt good. That's not good enough, Dr. Joe. He wants to know what's going on in the head. And that's why his meditations are different, because he validates them technically, scientifically. Okay, let's continue. I'll get off that. Building neural networks for meditations. Remember that the more knowledge you have, the better prepared you are for a new experience. Every meditation step you practice will have a meaning to you based on what you learned earlier in this book. I think it was chapter 7 or chapter 8. The name of the chapter was From Knowledge to Doing to Being. Knowledge is an important thing. That's why these books are a little bit heady, because our analytical mind wants something it can lean on. Why? I mean, how many people just get hung up on why are we doing this? Well, knowledge, if you read these books and learn what it says, you will have a foundation in a science that you couldn't imagine having to study, and you will have a knowledge base that you can lean on, because I assure you, his teachings are not flippant. They're solid science. Although I have mapped out a suggested 4-week program, I'll think about that. Being the kind of person I am, I did not exactly go through not even a little bit, but I did not do it in a 4-week program. I just thought I'd be honest with who I am. I took this stuff and just went with it. But for those who are truly new to meditation, and some of you may be, I've got 46 people here on tonight. Some of you may be new. And so learning it step by step, like learning a new musical instrument, you start at the basics and practice and build a foundation. What's good about this is that if you build a wrong foundation, you'll wonder why it's not working for you when you try to put on the second and third layers and you're just not getting off the ground. Each foundation is built on the other. So it's good to understand what and why we do what we do. Okay? So take a breath. I know this is very basic to people who've been meditating for a while, but just go with it and tell your rebellious analytical mind. We are learning Dr. Joe's way, the way of Dr. Joe. Okay. Page 222. You'll begin every session by doing the previous steps you learned, then practice a new material for that week because it's more effective to learn some steps together. Some weeks will call for you to practice 2 or more steps. Also, I recommend that you practice each new mindful step or group of steps for at least a week. These are not just education knowledge steps. You're trying to get this into your subconscious so you can just do it and your heart feels confident with where you're going with it. Then you can build a new skill. Once again, I go back to learning a musical piece. You sit down and first you do a foundation, then you add a little bit more. But if you try to go to the third lesson and you haven't built a good skill in the first lesson, well, and it's not going to build. So let yourself learn this first lesson, then the second and third. Let's review the structure. Suggested 4-week program. Week 1, every day, practice the induction. We'll do the induction study in the chapter 10. Week 2, start it every day, fully session by once again practicing the first step, induction, and adding, which we'll do in chapters 11 and 12. Recognizing and admitting and declaring and surrendering. Oh, there's that word surrendering. Oh, that was a tough one for me. But the whole idea is we talked about metacognition earlier in a couple of chapters, where you recognize yourself and what you do. And you start admitting that that's what you do, not browbeating you and shaming you, just like, yeah, there I go, I did it again. And then surrendering. Surrendering is a little different from forgiving or releasing, because surrendering is a surrendering to. You can just release it to the air, release it to the cosmos, but when he uses the word surrender, he's inferring that you give it over to the divine. He says, this is yours. I give this ego up and I surrender it to you. I give this old man and I set him down and put him in guard and I surrender it. And now I am in the energy field. We'll go into that more detail when we get there. Week 3, start every day by practicing steps 1 through 4, then add steps 5, observing and reminding and redirecting. Once you surrender, your mind has got empty hands and it doesn't like that for very long. If you say, what do you do now? If you don't have an answer for that, he'll go back to your old self. So in step 6, we'll study and practice redirecting, and that's your new self. And you give up your old self and your mind go, what now? Right? And you go, there, see that? That's my new self. We're doing that now. That's what I'm doing now. And your old self, what about me? What about me? Go away. I'm doing that now. Okay. And I did that. I'll tell, I got some funny stories about that one, how I learned and really did this work. I didn't exactly cooperate with a 4-week study, but I did it in my way. And that was ultimately the important part. I did it. Start every daily session by practicing lessons 1 through 6, then add step 7, creating and rehearsing, creating that new self, that new life, and bringing that into you, drawing that into you and being that new thing, the knowledge, the doing, to being. And that being is creating and rehearsing. That's the 4th week, chapter 13. Please take your time and build a strong foundation. This is life-changing work. This is not just knowledge. Please don't make this a book study that you go, oh, that was cool reading, and you put the book on the shelf. You miss a great opportunity. I can tell you that if you do the work will give you the promise. 223, preparation. Oh, before we go any further, that seems like a good time for a break. Anybody has anything you want to say about that part before I go into the next part of this chapter? It's pretty lightweight chapter. It's just kind of a preparation chapter. Any hands on just that part? Okay, there wasn't really much to talk about, but I just thought I'd give
I
it.
do. I have a question.
Okay, Julie.
Yeah. So I purchased the meditation from Audible, and then they actually have 4 meditation, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then so the week 1 is the first part, but the second they kind of order it differently. So I just kind of do we listen to them based on the appendix? Break it out that way. I guess
I haven't heard that setup, so I'm not sure how
okay.
to answer it.
Okay.
When we go through chapter 10, you'll have a solid understanding of what he means by induction. If you
Well,
notice
yeah,
in the
yeah.
blessing of the energy centers, he spends some time focusing on the energy centers. That takes your mind off the world, and you put your awareness on the first, and then put your awareness, and you start working and you start raising this up. That is induction. Induction is the process of taking your mind off outward and
Mm-hmm.
bringing those energies in. You are inducting your energies.
Okay. And then I know that then he's starting to ask the intelligence within us, right? And then try to I guess that's recognizing. And then for the audible, that's the meditation too. And then the water rising induction, which is a bit scary when I first listened to it, because I was like, how am I breathing in this water, the warm water? But then I thought that, oh, I was in my mom's womb in that way, so I should be okay in that
It's
sense.
all in
But
the
that
symboled meaning. Give it a symbol meaning.
like a rebirth, is that
Well, I just said what it is. It is a ocean of energy. I
okay?
am energy. By the time that energy gets to here, I am supposed to be almost out of this ego mind and in, so that I just breathe in the energy of the ocean, the ocean of energy, and I just let myself immerse in it, and I take that universal energy and I draw it in as if I was drinking, and I let myself be totally immersed. And I like your image of in the birth, because I just take it and I just let myself be in the divine mother, the ocean. Now I can tell you that first year I was doing this, I could not do the water rising meditation. I couldn't. I grew up on Pensacola Beach. I had friends that drowned. I almost drowned. I have rescued people from drowning. Drowning isn't a theoretical something that, no, this was real life trauma for me. And so to sit in meditation and have water come up here and go, man, it's like, no, I'd get an adrenaline rush right about here and just out. So, but by the time, after about a year of doing it, I had adjusted my thinking. I had released a lot of my panic mode that I lived in, and I had started understanding the redefinition tool that I created, where I just redefined. I didn't like the way that word meant, so I just gave it another meaning. Yeah, you hear me talk about that numerous times. And so I had to redefine this water and had to understand that water is a symbol of energy rising in me. And once I did that, I was good to go.
Thank you for sharing that. I'll just wait for the rest of the part come along.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Susan, I see a hand. Thank you for being patient.
Hi, good evening. I was just wondering, has anybody ever mentioned in any of the meetings how closely this resembles like the 12 steps?
No,
No?
I'm a beer drinker, and someone once asked me one time if I had a drinking problem. I said, nope, I'm really good at it.
No, but I mean not necessarily for drinking. It can be for all kinds of things. It can be
Oh,
for
okay. Well, that shows how much I know about
families
it.
that are are dealing with alcoholism and the people that are dealing with alcoholism in their family or whatever. But it's just amazing to me how close it kind of parallels it. But I don't just see it here, I see it in other things too. It's like spiritual truths are told similarly. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that this is
Once you get into Dr. Joe's work in an advanced way, where you really know his advanced teachings, you can go back to the Kabbalah and go back to Vedic teachings, and you go, oh, I see this. You see, Dr. Joe did not originate any of this.
Yeah.
He reinterpreted. His genius is to take teachings that are thousands of years old and run it through his scientific mind. He's got multiple science degrees. I don't know if everybody knows that. Not only is he a degreed doctor, he's got a couple other neuropathic degrees and other science degrees. And so he's really a science tech head.
Yeah.
And so he
But I'm
runs.
just saying, it seems like I see it in other places too, that like spiritual truths are spiritual truths are spiritual
Yes.
truths. And
Yes.
it might be said in a little bit of different way, one way or another, one to the next. But this is just like, so, realize what, to start at the basics of practice, to recognize what I do. I mean, this is the steps. Surrender my ego, that's a step. Creating and rehearsing, that's a step, So it's just amazing to me that here it is again, just showing me that these spiritual truths are just kind of anchors of where we are on this planet.
It's a human experience is the way I like to call it. And that's how come Dr. Joe can take this around the planet and it works. I don't care what culture, age, or anything. It's so human, he can go anywhere and people go, yeah, I get that. I can do that.
Yeah. And I think it's also interesting. I'm a person that kind of looks for signs. And we're going to take 2 weeks off. And all of a sudden we're suggested of what we do for these 4 weeks. All the suggestion is here. This is what we need to do. We need to do chapter 10. The first week we need to do chapter 11, the second week. And it just is kind of a nice niche that we're taking time away from each other. And yet the work is laid out for us. And so to me, that's just kind of cool. That's all.
Thank you. That was good. Because that's his genius. His genius is not necessarily creating the information. His genius is how he teaches it. And that is just remarkable because he's taking information that has been hidden in secret societies all throughout the Western society, from Rosicrucians to other secret societies and all this kind of stuff, and he's just made it public for people to learn. And he says, you do the work, you'll get your miracle. And I'm walking, talking example of it. I'm telling you.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go into the next part. Preparation. The right stuff. Separately from your meditation sessions, you will read some descriptive tools about each step, often accompanied by questions and prompts under the heading Opportunity to Write. Now, under full disclosure, I tried to do it and I don't like writing my private stuff. I can write little essays, I can write projects, I can write studies, but private stuff like this tells me to do, I still can't do it. So, but everything I've ever studied in just all over the place, if you can journalize your work as you begin, you're helping yourself learn. So if you have that in you to do, even though I couldn't set the example for it, just being honest, everything says that's a good idea. Listen up. When you first learn the meditation steps, you may want to listen to pre-recorded guided sessions. For example, you will learn an induction technique that you will use in every one of your daily sessions to help you reach the highly coherent alpha brainwave state. This is key to learn how to put away this analytical mind, go into the field, and let yourself become at rest, and heart coherent. And you just move into alpha waves. And when that becomes an easy step for you, you have conquered the biggest challenge of meditation, because it is tricky. This analytical mind doesn't like to give up the throne. And when you learn how to do that, you're done. You're done good there, buddy. Yeah. Okay. Patricia, I see your hand. Thank you for that.
Okay, whoops. This is the part I've been waiting for. Okay, so on this page, it says www.drjoedispenza.com. I want to know, has anybody purchased this? Is it different from Water Rising? Is it
Which one?
this? Well, it says go here, and then it has two approaches. You can listen to the guided sessions. I want to know what the guided sessions are like. Is it going to be the Water Rising thing? Is it going to be something different? Is it going to be
This book refers to two different meditations, the body parts meditation and the water rising meditation. They're drastically different meditations, but the structure of induction is there, though they present themselves very differently. The text is in the back of the book. There's a text example.
I don't want the text. I want the
Right.
meditative guidance.
The
That's why I don't know which one
there
to
is
purchase.
an explanation of each one. When you buy it, there'll be an introduction, and then there'll be the meditation, and you know, so you just get it and listen to the introduction.
Hold on, answering my question. Sorry. Okay, so I did Joe Dispenza religiously. I tried to do the meditation one. First, I started with the one with the get the energy up to your
Blessing of the energy centers, like we did today.
no, not the blessing of the energy centers. The one that I was first introduced to was the one about the heal.
Probably body parts.
No, getting the energy up to the 7th chakra.
Okay, I don't know.
Probably the pineal gland.
Yes, that one. And I nixed that one because I was holding my breath and almost passing out.
Sorry, didn't mean to laugh.
I formed very good hiney muscles from squeezing, but I did not get anywhere. Because I couldn't hold my breath and I'm very severe asthmatic. Not good. So then I went into this other one, but I'm wondering if there's a third one where he just explains how to get out of your head.
Well, that's partly what we're going to go through.
Is it different from the blessings?
The blessing of the energy centers is a little bit in your face. The others are kind of funny, actually, because he says, put your awareness on the space between your eyes. Put your word, that one's, put your awareness.
Is it the space in the space one? Because I did that one too.
That's the body parts. And he goes, put your in your nose, put it in the back of your head, put it under your, the one that really used to get me is put it in the space under your chin. I went, there's nothing under my chin. It's just like, what's that? But
okay, so is that what this one is? I'm trying to figure out which one
that's the body parts one. That when I refer to body parts, that's what I'm talking about, because it says put it here.
Is that the one that they ask you to start with though? I looked on his site and there's like 400 meditations.
Right. This book refers to the body parts and water rising.
So it's going to stay step 1 is body parts or something like that?
We'll talk about it in a little bit more detail as we go through. Okay. But I just to give you some understanding, I could not do either of these meditations the first 9 months because they made no sense to me either. I mean, they didn't. I didn't understand space in space. And it's like, what is that? I had to practice these blessings of the energy centers we've been doing the last few weeks again and again and again to get familiar with the space of my awareness. Once I got familiar with the space of my awareness and that I was able to move my awareness here and here and here and here, now that I got that idea, I could do body parts and put my awareness in the space between my eyes and under my chin and my chest and all, because I now been practicing the blessing of the energy centers where he said, put your awareness on this center, and this center. And I did it for 3 times a day, just earnestly. And it occurred to me like, oh, I am not this body because I am back here, not up here. I am back here in my awareness, consciousness, moving my awareness. I am not my awareness because I am conducting awareness, moving my awareness here. So I am behind my back is how I image. I like to image it. And I can put my, and then I am standing up in myself as an energy being, and I become one energy field in my body, but I am observing this from back here. Once I got that, body parts made sense to me because I am controlling the field back here. And I could, when he said, put my awareness between my eyes, I said, I could do that. And I would move my ability to move awareness to that space between my eyes. And I could hold it there for a few seconds. No, I'm not perfectly disciplined. My head would pop around, but I knew what I was trying to do and I could hold it there. And then I could move it around. I've been practicing it for almost 9 months by the time I finally started doing the meditation we're talking about. It was a challenge to me. I couldn't do it. I just put it away for months until I got that control of my awareness. Once I did that, it made sense. My imagery has gotten quite acute. I tell stories and sometimes, and I am gone, and I'm in it, and I'm really nobody in a place to time because I just lose track of the visions that flow through my mind. I mean, sometimes taking my hands and meditating with me is a trip because when I'm on, I am on, and my partner gets to have quite a ride in the mind. I experienced that last week when I was over at some friend's house. They said they were wanting me to, so I took the hands, and the room just flowed with tears, and all I was doing is holding hands and just letting it flow through me. So what we're learning to do here is really a great thing to learn. It's to get out of this and move into spatial awareness, where you can not think of something, but if you're still stuck in your body, you haven't done it. Can you look back here and just go, I sense the space of this room? Think about it. When you turn the lights out in the room and it's pitch black, you automatically stretch your senses to ensure you're safe. It's the same thing. It's a human talent to do this. It's not a mystical talent. It's a human talent that goes, okay, and boom, your senses go out. There. That's what you're doing. Test it. Go sit in your closet and turn out the lights, make it all dark, and sense what your head is doing. It is like pushed out as far as it knows how to be. It wants to sense because all your senses are turned. Your eyes are turned off. Your nose is turned off. Your sense, and you're just wow. How's that? Yeah, and that's what we're learning to do. And so once you learn it as a skill, you can sit here and just project out. Now he says, put your space in your heart. And so you got the space thing, and he goes, okay, here's my heart, here's my throne. And you just learn it. And it's done just like what we said. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Just like learning the scales in piano. I can remember taking the piano scales 100 times. And I never understood why I had to do that so many times. Here I am, 75 years old, and I can still do piano scales. 1, 2, 3. Your thumb goes under. 4, 5. Please. Yeah. I hope that helped. Karina, I see your hand up.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I just wanted to add to the last person who spoke that the Dr. Joe actually mentions himself that it doesn't really matter what type of meditation you're going to do. You can even record yourself from the back of the book appendices, and he has each step. He explains exactly what to do, and he says it doesn't matter if it's if you're buying my guided. It doesn't matter if you record yourself. Doesn't matter if you need music. It's good, but just do this music and not that music, and you don't even have to have music. So that's the first thing that I wanted to mention, not to worry too much about exactly how it is done, as long as it's done, as long as people actually learn that skill that you mentioned. So that was the first thing that I wanted to say. The second thing I wanted to say is about this skill that you're saying all the time. Take yourself out of the frontal lobe and go backwards. So I really tried for a long time to do that, and I couldn't get out of my head. And then somebody told a sentence that for me really worked well, and I want to share. Maybe somebody will find it helpful. They were talking about, actually Robbie was talking about music, and they said, don't listen to the music, let the music come to you. And in an instant it let go. My frontal lobe let go, and my back of my head was letting the music come to me. That made such a big difference. So here's another.
Totally agree. Yes. Good comment.
Yeah, and then the third thing I wanted to mention is the new order that you're making. So so for me, I like doing the meditation at the beginning, but then I'm kind of still in it when discussion starts. So I don't know. I'm still in it, I think. You can hear it in my voice maybe, but I really I'm really still in it when discussion begins. So
Yeah. But that's,
Okay.
you could either have it before or after. And it looks like now that we've done it a couple of times first, I kind of like it. Farrah, I
Thank
see
you.
your hand up. Yeah, thank you, Karina. That was good. I really like that comment about let the music come to you. Yes, that's putting your mind in the receiver mode and receiving it. Yeah, that's really good. Farrah,
Yes, hi, Ray. Thank you again so much for all that you do. Just wanted to
you're
say.
welcome.
I did want to, I guess it kind of parlays into that. I've been really getting into the different wave types, and kind of like what Karina just said, let the music come to you. And with us doing the meditations first, I feel like we are going into an alpha state, which is less analyzation and it's more receptivity, is how I see it. So we're able to be more, in a way, authentic and less control oriented or like analytical, which I think makes for really good connections, conversation, and like getting things. My question to you specifically is, um, with the other two types of wave states, the delta and the theta, do you have any specific experiences with those, and maybe utilizing them in the day-to-day? Because I'm getting curious about those.
On a day-to-day, well, once you go from alpha to theta, your day ends because you are gone. Yeah. So you can function. In fact, that's what uh, a lot of professionals get their work done is in alpha. If you've ever heard of flow state is an alpha wave brain state. Uh, if you know somebody who is very empathic to animals, they are doing that in alpha wave. Most empaths have a strong alpha wave mind, and that's where they're touching people. Once you go from alpha to theta, you're starting to get into a dream state where you're losing your present moment stuff. Alpha, you're still here. and you're in that programming state, or not here completely, but you can still walk and talk. And well, anyway, but once you go into theta, you put this body away and you're in a dream state. And delta, you're gone. That doesn't mean you're sound asleep, but a lot of times it does. So most of what the goal is to go into deep alpha, because there is where the subconscious can be reprogrammed, and you can change certain tendencies, certain connections. You can break the habit of being yourself in the alpha. And once you get good in the alpha, it's a small step to go to theta, but you can't exactly go to theta at work because you'll be checked out. Somebody, so day to day, theta and delta is not normal, but that's not the right word. But alpha, you can function and do things and really work in a high program state. Okay.
Ooh, sorry. Can you hear me? I think
Yes.
Okay, apologize. No, that's a really good explanation. It kind of made me wonder, I guess those yogis you see that are meditating all day long, or some of those Zen masters, I guess they purposefully try to get into that deeper, those slower states then, right?
Yeah, because they've well mastered alpha. They can sit down, close their eyes, and step into alpha like changing a suit coat, you know.
Mm.
And so it doesn't take a lot for someone who's done this a lot. To get into theta, you have to have mastered the first step, and that's mastering your inner environment. And I don't mean just good at it. You got to be able to put that inner environment on and let this and step and turn off your sensual impressions.
Mm.
And now your body can go into a semi-state of unconsciousness, subconsciousness, and you as the operator can go do something in the cosmos, in the energy fields. And it happens. I've done it. I've touched it. Do I live there? No, I'm just, I'm being honest. I've touched it and I was like, oh, I did that, And um,
No, it's amazing. It's like it truly, I'm seeing this whole thing is really like a muscle. It really is like you're developing it.
yeah, it's a skill. It's a brain skill.
It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Right. And that's why I suggest for those who are into a challenging book to read Evolution, the Evolving Your Brain, is that you find that this really is a technical human thing. There's nothing mystical on this side of the gateway, or door, is all I gotta call it. Everything is practiced like a skill. It puts away bad habits, you build new habits, you develop a skill of moving into alpha and theta. And once you're there, it's a skill of learning how to build a new intention of your life and new skills in your being, and putting away the bonds that we hold on to of our old self. All these things are part of the skill that breaking the habit is trying to teach us. And some people, it's like music. Some people can just sit down and do it, and you look at them and go, how'd you do that? And other people, trust me, I worked at it, and I had my breakthrough just about 12 months of really dedicated, serious work. And then I changed. But I had little steps along the way. Sure, I did. I was having aha moments around the 9th month. And I get out of my book study and meditation. I go, oh, I learned something new. Just I'd walk around in circles because I didn't have anybody to talk to. But just it's different for everybody. We all hold on to things differently. We all have different histories, not only this life, but we bring with us certain tendencies and talents. And so never compare yourself to anybody else. You lose whether you win or lose. Okay, let me begin. Under preparing your tools, we first read about writing things down. If you're a kind of person who can write a little journal, do that. Listen to things, listen to the introduction, listen to how he explains it. It comes with the meditation introduction. Those introductions have real solid information in them. Preparing your environment. Location, location, location. I have this little room that I do. I don't have children in my house anymore. They're all grown and got families of their own. So I get to sit here in my room and have a quiet place and secure. I realize that not everybody is blessed with such a peaceful environment. Location, location, location. Build a little corner in your life that you can routinely sit and build an energy field so that when you sit down in this environment, your body knows you're getting ready to do this work. It builds the suggestion and helps eliminate some of the resistance as you begin. Yes, when you first start, you've got resistance of your habits, resistance of your supplies, resistance of your environment, resistance of this building. You got to get this, you got to put that where you want everything. Until you've done this enough where you've built yourself a little kiosk of meditation, and it acts and it will turn into a place that encourages you instead of resist you. Okay? Where you practice your mindful meditation practices. Somebody says, what kind of meditation you're learning with Dr. Joe? An easy term is mindful meditation. That would be a safe definition of this kind of meditation. Try to prevent distractions. If you have a dog, find a way to pen him, tie him up, quiet him, give him a big meal so he can sleep or happy, or take him outside before you sit down, something so that your dog is at peace, so that you can, same with your kids, get up early before your kids get up, whatever, eliminate the distractions. If you're going to use music that doesn't have distracting words. Sometimes I don't want to do Dr. Joe's worded meditation, so I get something like binaural beat, for those who know, I hope that you know, and sometimes I use something called handpan, HANDPAN, music meditations. I think it's cool as beans, and my mind loves it. I just trip out on it. And it's no words, it's just guys beating on a little metal drum. Really cool sound. And position, position, position. He goes into a story about don't meditate in bed. But it's comfortable. I don't care. Your bed is there and you're programmed to go to sleep in bed. Don't do that. Find a chair, sit up, and do the work. Put in the effort to overcome the habits of suggestion of sleep and other things. Posture helps drive the intention. That's the best way of saying it. Your posture helps drive the intention of the purpose of your time. If your head's nodding, move your shoulders, do something, get your head engaged in the work that's going on. If you're going to sleep, that means you're there for the ride. You're not doing the work. You're here to do work. You do the work, you get the promise. You've heard me say it. In fact, I've made a little video about that name. That's what I called my video. That's where I discussed all the healings that I went through. I did the work. I got the promise. I know if you do the work, you don't always get the promise. There's little details that I'm not fit to make any judgment about anybody's success or failures. I don't compare, because I have learned enough to know that everybody's got a different story, everybody's got different limits. So do the best you can, keep working at it, keep being open to learning, gain new skills, take little steps, change little things. Make time to meditate. Dr. Joe will tell you the two best times to do that is in the morning and the evening. But people have different lives. I understand that again. But the ideal situation is in the morning, pre-sunrise. And how long to meditate? In this early part of the book, he's only asking 15, 20 minutes. In this, and then each week, each lesson builds, and then your 15 minutes will go to 30 minutes, your 30 will go to 45, and so forth. So you practice what you're learning. Of course, being the person I was, I just jumped in and got the meditation date, but I just went at it. And it's like I had no idea what I was doing, but I was going to try my best to learn what it had. So you decide who you are, and you decide how you want to approach this. Mastering the Ego, page 228. To be honest, I do have those days where I battle my ego tooth and nail. That's Master Dr. Joe saying that. I'm telling you, if you have days that you just can't sit and do it, your mind has just got your eyes open and you woke up like that. Boom, you're ready to go. Okay, just kind of bless yourself and start your day. Maybe in that evening you can sit and do something. Okay. Sometimes life is just like that. But that doesn't mean to quit the next day. That just means, okay, that day your body just wasn't going to let go. Fine. Sit down and do it again the next day. I have to settle down and realize that those are all known associations that have nothing to do with creating something new in the present moment. All that busy stuff sometimes wins the daily battle, but all that is all past stuff. Something's got it raised in you, okay? But its present moment is that what we're going to learn and spend this whole year talking about is letting go of the past and how the past creates a false future and trimming all that off us so that when we sit down, we are present. We are now. That's what we're trying to do in the very first part of induction, is to let go of past and present and future of our body, our environment, and time. Let go of that. And when we succeed in that, we get very present and the mind filters all that, and we are here and now. And that's the present moment. And that is a worthwhile skill to achieve, because that is where the magic happens. You must settle it down into the present moment and relax it. Every time you do, you are reconditioning the body to a new mind, and in time it will acquiesce. As you do this, eventually you will become the master of this wayward ego. That ego is not an enemy. It has just been poorly trained. Our society taught us that way, to be scattered. You know, how many women don't say they do 6 things at one time? I haven't met one yet that just boast of it. Well, come to find out, that's a hard habit to break. You know, to get down to where you just now. That's a pretty challenging thing. Our society taught us to be scattered and going in 6 directions. We're learning to be now. Okay, let's start with chapter 10. Page 231. Open the door to your creative state. Now we actually begin the induction, week 1. At an early point in my professional career, I learned about and eventually taught hypnosis and self-hypnosis. One of the techniques that hypnosis experts use to get individuals into a so-called trance is called induction. There it is. The first part of what you're doing in this meditation is to move into a self-centered, self-mind state that science calls induction. That's not a made-up word. All someone has to do in order to be hypnotized or to hypnotize himself is to move down from the high mind beta range into a more relaxed alpha and theta range. Thus, meditation and self-hypnosis are similar. That is how you break the habit of being yourself. You go into that self alpha state and you give yourself a new program. The body works on programs. That's just a fact. Programs aren't bad. We just have harmful, self-destructive programs in us. Everything from, well, just everything is just all over our life. I could have included induction with the preparatory information in the last chapter, and so on. Induction is a step you will include during this session. In fact, it must be the first step you master, and it will lead off every section. Induction is a step you do every time you sit to meditate. I've been doing this for a few years, and the first 5 minutes I do is an inductive state. What am I doing? I'm sitting, I move into awareness, and I start bringing my energies in and bringing it up. And it doesn't take me very long now, like it used to, but I still go through the process because that is the process of bringing your energies in and moving them up. Okay? So you got the whole chapter in that 5 minutes. Okay. Step 1, induction. Induction opens the door to your creative state. I urge you to spend at least a week of daily sessions or more, if needed, devoted to the practice of induction. So that's why he broke it into a 4-step process, because until you learn this induction, you're pushing against your analytical mind. And that's not where the magic is. First, sit up straight and close your eyes. As soon as you do so, blocking out some sensory input from coming in. That's why I say, if you're having trouble understanding space, go sit in the closet and turn out the lights and close the door. Turn off that sensory input and get an idea what it feels like to be in that spatial mode. That's beginning of induction. Alpha state, then surrender, stay present, and love yourself. That's another hiccup for me when I started. Surrender was a serious hiccup for me, but we'll talk about that as we go. But to learn to love yourself, go into the state, go in and just tell, because this is not you. It's hard to tell yourself, I love you, when you confuse this with you. Once you realize this body is serving you as an expression, if you could pick up a puppy and hug it and feel love for it, love your body. It's just an expression of your consciousness. It's not you. It is an expression of your consciousness. Even Einstein said 50 some odd years ago, the particle creates the wave. The wave creates the field. The field, no, I didn't say it right. The particle does not create the field, is what I was trying to say. The field creates the particle. This body does not create the field of our lives. The field of our lives creates and expresses itself through this body. When you get that as a principle of who and what you are, you're on your way, because that contradicts everything I was taught growing up. This particle does not create the field. The field creates and expresses itself through the body. Okay? That is how you as the field can look, examine, and see yourself back here in the field and look at yourself and tell your body you love it. Change the energy of your body by expressing love for it. Really matters. Science says that you can go up to a plant and tell it you love it, and that plant will energetically respond. You can have one plant here and one plant 2 feet away until one plant you love it and ignore the other. And the one you constantly say you love will grow better than the one you ignore under the same environment. Think about it. You want to help your body heal? This is a simple thing. Once you learn to go in alpha and you're back here and you're in that field and you can separate your consciousness from your body and you go, body, I love you. You're doing a great job being healthy. Don't always be honest, but always be idealistic. You are wonderful. Thank you. I love you. And if a plant will respond, that's science. This isn't woo-woo. This is science. If a plant will respond to you telling you love it, so will your body. You with me? I hope you take that serious. That is a reality. That's real science. Then surrender this ego. It's you surrender. I found something interesting. The more I tried to force a surrender, the more it clung on. So I just kind of ignored it, went into space, got busy in my awareness, and I noticed this guy just didn't have anything to do. And he sat down, and the gate to number 8 would open, and I'd just walk into it, and I'd be in. There's nobody in a place in a time. And what I was focusing on was spatial awareness in the field. This space, this space, this. And pretty soon I had tuned out my senses because I was busy working. And I was just in this wonderful place. Okay. What is important is that you move from that analytical beta state to the sensory state of alpha and focus on the body, which is the subconscious mind and the operating system, where you can then make the changes you want. Now, that was an interesting statement to me. Focus on the body, which is the subconscious mind. Your body is an expression of the subconscious mind. Remember, earlier in the book, Dr. Joe says 95% of your moment by moment is subconscious. Only 5% of this life expression that we have is conscious. What is all that 95% doing? Well, that's running your body. You know, that's subconscious. I just talk with my hands. My wife says that anybody talking to me has to stand back 3 feet because I'm doing this, you know. So it's important that you realize that. And so you go into the alpha state to give yourself new programs. And the best way to have your body receptive to that state is that you've gone into alpha state and you've told your body you love it. Just like taking your dog and hugging it and saying you love it. That dog will be one happy dog. He doesn't know what the words mean, but he knows what it feels like. Your body does too. And so you love your body, and you start creating new programs. Why is it desirable to focus on the body? Remember, it is the subconscious mind are merged. It and the subconscious mind are merged. That's why. So when we become acutely aware of the body and sensations related to it, we enter the subconscious mind. There it is. When you really tune in and you're experiencing energies of the body, you're touching those programs. The body doesn't have words. Education words are up here. The body has chemicals and has energy fields. So you tune into it and you feel the body. Tune into it and feel. Moreover, induction shuts down the analytical mind by forcing you into a sensing and feeling mode. As you move into this awareness, that sensing is like tuning to it. I sense it and I tune to it. And that tuning has, well, you kind of feel it. Just like somebody walks up to you, you can feel their energy. Well, when you do that with yourself and you tune into it, you kind of feel the state of your being. And the number one response is always love yourself. Love this expression that is you are expressing. And it will get healthier if you do nothing else than that. So induction allows you to use the body's natural language to interpret and change language of the operating system. It's not natural language, it's sensing and feeling. So by doing this, you're tuning into the body and you can love it to change it or change it to love it. In other words, you are sensing or putting your awareness on different aspects of your body. You would be thinking less, shifting your analytical thoughts from past to future less. Because most of the future we project is tied to events in the past, and we're just taking this picture and projecting it here. We're trying to be here, present moment, and changing it now. All this happens as you move from the narrow-minded range of attention to an expanded focus of the body and space around the body. There it is. From this narrow-pointed analytical mind, this or this, to spatial awareness of my body in a space. Now I'm trying to sense the field, the energy of these parts of my body. And I'm trying to sense it and trying to love the field and injecting a new energy in that field. You with me? Any questions up to that point on this induction? It's kind of a new way of saying what we do, but we haven't really thought about in these details. Okay, I can continue. 234, body parts induction, the how-to. As the induction progresses from body part to body part, sense and become aware of the space of each occupies. In the first part of this meditation called body parts, well, one of the first parts, he says the space between your eyes, the space somewhere, I don't remember. And so you try to imagine, take your awareness that you practice with these blessings of the energy centers and take that little volume, put it in your head. And don't try to see brain matter. Try to sense the energy of that space. How does that space feel? What's the perception? Is it stressing? Is it at peace? Is it anxious? What does it feel? What is the perception it has? Is it graceful? Is it exciting to sense something in your head? Can you see your structures? I get all kinds of different things. I'm really graphic in my head. So you're trying to sense and feel what you sense. When you go in your heart center, you put in the blessing of the energy, he says, you go there and you try to sense what is it, the energies of my heart at this time. So you've been practicing that with the blessing of the energy centers. Now we're doing it and we're identifying different parts of the body. Why would you want to master this? Because it is a small step to doing this and meditating for a healing. Very foundational. This stuff is important, foundational stuff. Also sense the density of the space that each occupies, and sense the density of the weight or heaviness or the volume of space that it occupies. Now that's one that tripped me up, and I don't have words to explain what it is, but there's an intensity that you get sometimes. When you sense it, there's different ways of sensing it. There's an excitement, there's a light, there's a heat, there's a vibration. And then he says, also try to be aware of a density of the space. That's, to me, that's a pretty vague thing to, well, anyway. So when you go into it, all I'm trying to say is there's more than one sensation, energy sensation in the midst of this, okay? So just be open to, okay, what am I sensing? What is it there? And just give yourself allowance to sense different things. Okay? That's kind of what this is about. This movement from part to part and the emphasis on the space within the space is the key to this. So as we've gone through blessing of the energy centers, we go from part to part to part to part to part. Now we're going to body parts to body parts to body parts. It's essentially the same thing, just a little bit more specific, asking for you to be a little bit more self-aware of how these different energies may feel to you. Light, hot, cold, vibrant, pressure, exciting. Sometimes you'll tune into it and you'll hit it. It's like you got the switch and something in you will just go, oh. Until, you just work with it until you find that place. It's not this, it's in the awareness tools. The why. 234. We can measure these differences in how you are thinking. We can view your thought patterns on an EEG to see how you move from beta to alpha wave circuitry. We are not interested in just getting you into alpha state of any kind. Though you want to be in a high coherent organized alpha, you want to be in a coherent alpha. That's why you will concentrate first on your body and its orientation in space, then move from those individual parts to the volume or perimeter of the space surrounding the body, and eventually focus your observation on the entire room. First, you start small and you learn to master. I can put my awareness here and here, and I can sense something in that space. And then you enlarge it. When I get here in this little tiny space, I can enlarge it. And now I can start here. And now I can sense my whole body in space, in space. And my body is now not me, and it's not tied to this physical environment, because I've separated it out in my environment of my awareness, and my body's in space of space. It's an step-by-step skill that you learn on the bridge between alpha and theta waves. Why would you go to do that trippy thing? Because it is a base skill, like in music, that you learn so that you can do other things as we go further in becoming supernatural. You'll like it, I assure you, but it's often not easy to achieve, because you got to let go of this to get there. Okay. That talks about body parts induction. Now we're going to talk about water rising induction. I talked to I forgot who it was I was talking to. Patricia, maybe. Were you talking the one asking about the two inductions? There you go. Now we're going to mention that was about water, the parts, right, where you go part, part, part. Now we're going to talk about water rising induction. Another similar induction. I don't think they're similar at all. I'm with you, Patricia. But well, anyway, that's what the book says. Another similar induction technique you can use is to imagine water moving into a room where you're sitting, then gradually rising. I told you I used, about me panicking when he got it. It's just, but now it's a beautiful message because I've reinterpreted the water. When you see the water as the divine energy pouring into the room, and it raises up, and as it raises up, it's healing and blessing your body, healing and blessing your body. And so when it gets there, I just drink it in and just let it fill me. And it's a crazy image, but that's how I've solved that. Okay, at first the water would rise up to your feet, move up to your shins, knees, spill all over into your lap, move up to your abdomen, chest, covering the arms, legs, cheeks, up past your chin, lips, and head, until the water fills the entire room. While some people may not like the idea of being covered completely by water, others find it soothing and warming. Well, duh. Absolutely. That one is a challenge to me for a while. Now I love it. It's a beautiful meditation because I understand the symbols that I'm working with. As a reminder, during your week 1 meditation, your job is to practice the induction technique. Understand it. If you just do the work without understanding, you'll lose some of the knowledge that he's trying to teach you. If you go do this and you go, why am I doing this? Go back and read it again. Patricia, I see your hand up.
I just want to thank you for explaining looking at it in a different way. I also have drowned almost twice. I
There you
remember
go.
them. So
That explains the choke on the water rising one. I don't want to do that.
but the funny thing is I really like water.
Oh yeah, I love it. Every
very
vacation
strange.
I go to the water.
Love
It's
hate
just
thing.
that.
So I like your reinterpretation. Thank you for sharing that, and I will try that. My other question is about these meditations are like 70 minutes long, and it says start with 10, like 20.
Well, that's why he says,
You chop it in half.
well, you find what part is just the induction. And when it starts, because he'll do the induction and he goes up and then you'll hear a ding or pause or something like that. And he's going to the next state. So there is a change of instruction that if you don't know what you're looking for, you can't find it. But once you understand what induction is, you'll notice that he changes the instructions at about 15, 20 minutes into it.
Okay.
And that's when you can stop.
Okay.
One of the things I did, I don't know if I can find it, but I sometimes run the program, the meditation program through Word, and there is a transcriptor feature of Word. And there's other tools that you can run it through, and you'll get the transcript, and then you can read it and understand it. Okay, I do that on a number of meditations that I really wanted to study. I don't remember if I did this one, but I've done that. So that's a suggestion. If you got a meditation that the guiding of the meditation doesn't make sense to you, run it through a transcript so you can get the transcript and read it. And sometimes then the imagery of the words will make sense to you because it slows it down where you can go, okay, this is where he's saying this. What in the world is he talking about? Right. What's he mean when he says this? Okay. Week 1, Guide to Meditation. As a reminder, during your week 1 meditation, your job is to practice the induction technique. That's your most important part. Like I said, I got the meditations, I jumped in and went at it, and it took me 9, 10 months before I solved it. So, because I didn't want to do this 1 week at a time. I'm a big boy. I don't have to do that stuff. Well, anyway, I still have a little bit of that in me, you know. If you record this this induction yourself, because you've got the transcript, make certain that you repeat the same questions that I have provided in my guided induction instructions in the appendixes, with their emphasis on the words and phrases such as sense, notice, feel, become aware of, become conscious of, and attend to. Also words such as the volume of space, the density, perimeter of space, weight of space, and so forth will help you focus your observation. Instead of moving quickly from one part to another, allow some time to pass. In other words, if you're really new to meditation and Dr. Joe's meditations are torquing your head, know that you're not alone on that. There is nothing I've ever learned that matches what Dr. Joe does. And there's nothing I've ever learned heals like learning what Dr. Joe does. Just because he's different doesn't mean it don't work, because I'm telling you, it works. You just ought to hear my story on my video called The Work and the Promise. It just is staggering, and it still amazes me. Do I have off days? Sure I do. But when I come back and lights come on and it's like, it was worth it. Okay, any questions? I'm at the end of the chapter. "41 people and no one wants to talk to me? Oh man, I thought I did pretty good too." Well, Noosh,
Ray, Beatrice shared the link with us to have access to the meditation. And my question is that, is this the same meditation that we did today? Or is
no. The one we did today is Blessing of the Energy Center 3.
I'm just a bit confused between the meditations that we do today. The meditation that we did today is for the one that is in the book, correct?
No. The one we did today is Blessing of the Energy Center 3.
So it's not related to breaking the habits of
No. I'm looking for that one now. It's got a funny name in my computer, and so I'm trying to find it, and I'm going to drop the introduction to it. These are copyrighted programs, so I will not give you the program. I did that one time, and they got somebody caught me, and I thought they were going to put me out of business. So I won't do that again.
So we should do the thing that Beatrice shared with us, correct? Because I want to write.
Okay. I
want to know.
found the introduction to it. Okay, I'm going to put the yeah, I think I'll put it in my WhatsApp page. That's what I can do. Okay, I'm going to drop this on the WhatsApp page.
Thank you.
Where'd you go? Shoot, I lost it. Got to do it again. There it is. Put here.
You also,
No.
the WhatsApp page.
And also, I expected the link that Beatrice shared with us include 4 steps, but it's only one meditation, which takes 70 minutes.
It's actually 2 meditations when you buy, right? We've been talking about the body parts, right? And the water rising. So when you buy that, that meditation, you're going to have 2, right? The ones that we've been talking today that are related to this book.
Okay. I posted the introduction. You'll get, if you buy the program, you'll get the introduction, but I thought I'd just share this so you could, on the WhatsApp page, so that you could listen to it and just make your decision.
Okay, thank you so much.
Can you post the WhatsApp page here? I don't have it.
I can do that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll get that.
If you're new to the group and you haven't come to my WhatsApp page, please do and say hi to everybody. And then you'll see my chats throughout the week. You'll see other people's chats and questions and discussions. You can ask a question and people will chat with you. And it's really a nice community. I've got lots of people there and I've got quite a few that are daily active. So, yeah, it's like anything else. There's some days go by and most you'll get is a hello, and other days you'll get pages of writing. So, yeah, so hit that link I just posted, and that will give you an invite to the WhatsApp page. If you haven't been to the WhatsApp page, I hope you do. And it's just a community thing. It's not a big deal. It's just a way to say hi and have community. One last reminder, there will be no discussion for 2 more weeks. I've got a Dispenza retreat and I've got Easter right behind it. Yes. Any other discussion? Oh, I want you to know that induction is probably the foundation of everything that you do in this, because even in the placebo, the first step of the placebo is to move into that alpha state. The second chapter of Supernatural is called Present Moment. How to get present, move into that alpha state. Everything depends on you building the skill of the induction. So don't take it lightly. That's really foundational. That you will be developing the skill. It's not something you pass or fail. You'll be developing the skill as the year goes through, because we'll point it and point it and point it to the like, okay, right? But it's that important. So let yourself practice moving into alpha and separating your self-consciousness from your body. Give your body it's good morning, I love you. You know, just know that everything responds to the consciousness that says I love you, from plants to animals to your body. It just is that way. So no more discussions? Olga, good evening. I was wondering if you're going to talk to me tonight.
Hello, hello. Nice to see you. It was very powerful discussion as usual.
Thank you.
Are you going to the retreat first time?
I'm going to Dallas retreat. Yes.
Is it your first time or?
This will be my third time. My third one.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I just can't get enough of this stuff, you know. Every now and then go, oh, I don't want to spend my money. I don't want to spend, and then I go, I gotta go. I just gotta go. I gotta find a way. And so I work my budget and I go, you know, it's kind of funny. It's like anything else. I'm not going to do it this year. Okay. And then when it comes time to sign up, where do I sign? You know?
I understand. I dream that one day I also have possibility to come. So I'd like to ask you about kind of dealing with difficult emotions. So you said that you surrender, you can imagine kind of river of life and said to yourself that you release this part of your past personality. So can you, if you feel kind of strong, difficult emotions, can you switch to elevated emotions soon after this? Or maybe sometimes you feel that you kind of should live through this emotion. So for me, sometimes I don't understand how to deal with such emotions. And the goal is not to like stick to them, not feel so alone, but not how it in English, like don't lie to myself that it's okay, it's nothing, and just la 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 and go. So a bit messy. Do you understand my question?
Mhm. How do I do it? Is that bottom line of what you're asking?
Yeah. How and if it's kind of strong negative emotions, are you able to switch to elevated emotions soon?
When I first started this work, I was a patient at VA Medical Center, and I was certified, not just some opinion. I was certified military disabled PTSD. I was a whack job. I was a cat on a hot tin roof, and I would jump under all kind of imagined threats. How did I get out of something that insane? I'm a military. I spent a couple years in combat, and I was programmed to react fast and think about it later. And I lost a lot of jobs because I would overreact. And when it was over, I'd go, why in the world did I do all this? Because I just had this program of violence. And that just, and when you have something like it, that it attaches to things in your mind, little programs and things like that. And so your whole life gets messed up doing it. So how did I let go of something that extreme? Well, a lot like anybody else. You're driving down the road and smash. You're just going along doing everything right, and somebody runs a stop sign and smashes and changes your life. The color of the clothes you wear, the music that was on the radio, the color of the car that hit you, that intersection now has ties to your mind, and you can't hardly drive through that intersection now without just having a panic attack. There's many different ways that people tie to PTSD. You're a person with a beautiful heart, and then one day your partner just breaks your heart, changes your life, and you never saw it coming, and your partner just goes off and has a life of their own, and you're just left with the ruins of a busted life. That will be an echo that lasts years. What I'm saying is that I recognize that PTSD is not a military thing. It is a real life thing that many people have, and it comes in different degrees. You don't have to be totally whacked out of your head to be called PTSD. PTSD is a post-traumatic stress. Something happened, and now you're stressing today over it. This can go back to your childhood. Something could have happened as a child. You could have been a child and one of your parents died, and something in your world changed so bad that you're still aching for that hole. Okay. So I recognize this is not something that I've got a corner on because I was military. No. When I first learned about it, I thought it was a military thing. But as I've learned, I look around and says, no, this is a human condition, post-traumatic stress. And it has unlimited presentations. Now, how do you get past that? You've heard me say it every time. I had years of shame that I had to deal with. And then once I quieted the shame by forgiveness, putting new life on my old life, that old life says, well, and I says, look, I let go of the pain of it, but it's still there. The trauma happened. It's written in the book of life. But what do you do with it? You use it as a foundation. I am going to take that trauma and build a new life on it. And so when I think of that moment, I say, you are the foundation. I'm building a new life. You are why I'm strong. I am strong today because of the chaos that I overcome. Spoiled children aren't strong people. They don't have control of themselves. You discipline a child and he'll look at you in the eye and say, why? Because he has learned to think for himself. I've got this trauma in my life. That's the rock of my foundation. I can build a life on it. Now my new house, figuratively speaking, is built on the pain of my past. And not only do I understand my craziness, I can talk to other people and understand. When you say you have pain of your past, I go, yeah, I can relate to it. I don't know your pain, but I know what past pain feels like. I know how it haunts the mind and twists your thinking and makes you go tilt, and I know that it's not easy to let go of the attachments to those, but it's worth it. I can still remember the first day I sat down and my mind was quiet for the first time in my life. I told my wife that that's probably my greatest healing of all. And she says, no, no. I said, she said, what is the cancer is silly. You wouldn't be alive if you wouldn't have to deal with it. Everyone. So first the cancer. Okay, I'll give you that. And cancer is the most important one. But the quiet mind, because with that quiet mind, all the rest of the healings in my body are possible. And I learned to let go. Doesn't matter whether you're guilty, they're guilty, or you're standing in the wrong place and life fell on your head. It's all the same. Your goal is to let go. Sometimes you surrender the mind and you surrender the mind to something. Sometimes you just stand in the river of life and you take the rubble off and let the river wash you away. Another water metaphor. I like water metaphors. I got them all the time. That's how you take off those pains. You don't try to hide that pain in a box because it will come out like a jack in the box. I'm back again. You just said, fine, that was a bad day. I forgive you. I forgive you. Forgive you. We're not talking about kowtowing. I will never, never, never tell you to go to somebody. Oh, I'm sorry. In fact, I'll suggest you don't do that. This isn't about somebody else. This is about you setting your heart free. The goal, regardless of what the circumstance is, so that you can go into meditation before that gate with empty hands. You've heard me say it, I'll say it again. I go into the darkness to find the light. I go into the quiet to hear that still voice. I go to the kingdom as a pauper. My hands are empty, and I receive the infinite potential of the kingdom. You can't receive when you're still holding on. You can't go through that gate if you're dragging karma debt of your past. You got to go clean. That's the rule of the system. So learn to let go of it, learn to let go of it, learn to let go of it. It took me a while. I didn't do it overnight. It took me months of conscious forgiveness of my past. And it took me all the way back to my childhood, where I saw myself as a 5-year-old boy. And I had to start there, healing the pain in that little boy's heart until he was past that. So, and it's all the same. The whole goal is empty hands, empty hands, empty hands. So when you're in that induction period, when you're learning this induction, you may have this. Because now that your analytical mind is getting quiet, your subconscious is going, what about me? What about me? And that's the time you got to spend to forgive it. Somebody once asked me, how do you know which one to forgive? It was an easy answer for me. I learned whichever one's in your face. Because this one that's in your face going, yeah, 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 yeah. What he's really saying, like a barking dog or a crying child, is today my day to heal? Can you heal me today? Because he's tuned into you and you're tuned into it. So you're already got the connection going. So look at this. Yeah, 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 yeah. Regardless of how ugly it is, it's all the same. Forgive it. Release that energy to the kingdom. Release that energy of the kingdom. Release the energy of the kingdom. And I don't care if you're guilty. I don't care if they're guilty or the sky fell on you. The whole idea is to release the energy. You want clean hands until that barking dog is quiet and your hands are empty. I got to mention something. Olga, do you know you have a sign of the 6th energy center? I'm sitting here trying not to say anything. The pineal gland is the pine cone is a symbol for the pineal gland. It's just like, I wonder if she knows that. I'm glad you know it because like, oh, that's a cool symbol. Maybe I'll add one to my tree. I don't know because I really like that. I'm jealous. I didn't think of that. That is a perfect symbol for that. Okay. So anyway,
you told me it earlier, so
did I? Okay. So
it wasn't like planned. It
it
just
was just a pine cone. Well, anyway, it's really cool. Okay. So anyway, did I answer your question at all?
Yeah, but I have to
You
like
go
do
into
it
you go into the space, you get
through.
your induction going, your analytical mind quiets, and the subconscious starts rising up. Now you got to deal with the noise. That's normal.
Mm.
Sometimes when you're first learning this, you just want to shut it up. Fine, because you're still learning. But the ultimate goal is to heal it, and you heal it by forgiveness, by letting it go. Forgiveness, 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 until all that pain is disconnected from your consciousness.
I just thought about fear, and in my mind, it's not very kind of related, forgiveness related to fear.
Fear is a program from your past. You're sitting in your house, in your chair, in a quiet room. What are you afraid of? You're afraid of a program in your mind from the past. Why else would you be afraid unless you had a program from your past telling you that there's something to fear? Lock your doors, close your windows, quiet your stuff down, sit in your chair and look around. I'm safe. For this hour, I'm safe. Nothing to be afraid of. If you are, it's a program from your past and it needs to be released.
Forgiven.
Forgiven. That's it. It's all that's the same. Okay.
Yes.
Picture yourself standing before the gate saying, Father, my hands are empty. Can I come in? And he'll say, sure. And the angels will step out of your way and let you in.
So great images, great
Okay.
scene.
All right. I'll go to the next question. Mercy, thank you for being patient.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ray, several of us are having troubles getting into the link you gave, and we're getting a message. And I'm not sure if that's the same.
What's the message?
Still can't you can't join the group or community because the invite link was reset.
Oh, they already did that. We were talking today about resetting it to help stop we were getting these bots that were pushing promotions and investments and all this other kind of stuff. Okay. Let me see if, yeah, okay. I think I can find that. Where'd it go?
Took like 2 days for people to let me into it or whatever, because you had asked me to post the transcript that I prepared. And, and honestly, I'd have preferred to have posted that myself rather than somebody posting it for me, because I was still making some edits to it. And, yeah, I just would have preferred to have had that opportunity to personally post it.
Okay. When you hit this link for invite, they're going to ask you for a passcode. The passcode is the name Joe Dispenza. And so you got to kind of get through this. This is a new thing. And because I'm trying to overcome some of these bots that just been bombarding my WhatsApp page. I mean, we've got investments from everything from Russia to the Middle East to oils to fish. It's just to digital currency to all kind of different stuff. And it's like, go away. So to overcome that, we've got this. And the passcode is Joe Dispenza.
Okay.
So
Great.
put in your request and wait for a response, but that's what it's about.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the same group, but yeah, I thought it was your group. And after requesting to join, I got 2 messages from unknown numbers, and apparently it's the other admins, but I didn't know who they were. And
Yeah, I've got a couple people that are helping me overcome this problem.
So had it been coming from you, I'd have known it was you. Yeah, kind of a catch-22, but okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
One of the ladies you'll meet, her name is Nour, Nour. She's a real sweet lady. She's got my best interest at heart, and this is a system that she's using to overcome the bot raids.
Thank you.
Okay. work with me. We'll get there. Okay. Thank you. Farah.
Yes, hi. Bit of a maybe controversial topic, but what are your thoughts on Ayurveda or DMT to help with healing?
I'm good to heal in any way you need. When it was my turn for surgery, I showed up. Remember my story in the colon cancer? I showed up for surgery. I didn't know I was healed. I wasn't going to go, I believe, I believe, I believe, and risk having that cancer spread through my body. No, I worked on it, and I hoped that I could heal before the surgery day. And she rolled me into the surgery room expecting to cut me, and looked at me and found all the cancer was gone. So I'm good to do whatever it takes. Just don't get self-righteous and go, I believe I'll be healed. No, just make them tell you. Someone once asked me, he says, Ray, if you're so good at this, why do you keep showing up to the VA medical center every year and make them look at you? Well, that's just the point. For 9 years, those doctors told me and my wife I was going to die of cancer. I just love making them tell me I'm healthy. I do. It's just like, there you go. Tell me what you know now. So anyway, so I do. I still show up for those appointments and let them give me a full body scan. I said, no, you're all clear. And so I showed up for the surgery and I was healed. And now I show up and make them tell me I'm healthy. So I encourage people, do what it takes to get healthy. If you don't have the talent, the time, the ability to do the work, to do this, then find a way to get healthy. Don't get foolish and go let this stuff beat you. If these other medications, whether a naturopathic or whatever, is a way. If you can do naturopathic, I'd really encourage it, because the secondary effects of pharmaceuticals is crazy. But do what it takes to get healthy.
Yep.
Okay. And my friend Sean, he is so patient with me, yakking away. Hey, buddy, welcome to the party.
Hey, Ray. Good to hang out with you guys. And thank you for all this. Always, always. Farah, I wanted to jump in on your question about, say, like trying an ayahuasca ceremony. Something like that. My understanding, so not from personal experience. I haven't tried ayahuasca yet. But my understanding is, for anyone who chooses to do so, be ready for what will come afterwards. It's not so much that you spend the weekend or the week, however long it is, and you do the ceremonies and you have the purging, and then you're good and everything is where it needs to be and your mind is where it needs to be, and you can go back into life as this new person and live as a new person. There's no, so if that is the idea, or a potentially like what you might think would be how that unfolds, I would say watch out for that, because what is ultimately happening is that that ceremony is like a way to quickly bring up everything that we want to release. So the work that we're doing here, right? Like when we're in a meditation, when we're just working to get through the induction phase of the meditation, and we're up against our chattering mind and the busyness that we've always been, and our body wants to go because that's all we ever do, and we're up against that resistance. Then you're bringing all of that kind of stuff to the surface, and it could be a lot to have to deal with if you don't have the time and the space to do it. So you could end up feeling like, oh my gosh, am I going crazy? This is too much too fast, kind of a thing. And yeah, I think that's it. If I kept talking, I would just talk in circles now, but I'll just share that.
I remember Dr. Joe set a standard that I hold as one of the banners, mile markers in my life. People change for one of two reasons. They change for trauma that knocks you off your high horse and forces you to do something else, and they change for a love of the future self. Now, let me ask you a question. If trauma knocks you off your horse and changes you, what do you do once you get past the trauma state? If you haven't developed the wisdom to get a future self, you're going to go back to your old self and create the scenarios and the situations in the life that created the trauma the first time. When I went through the cancer experience I had my trauma and it knocked me off my high horse, and I made myself find a change so I wouldn't rebuild the life that gave me that trauma. I watched veterans, tough men. They don't get more crazy and more tough than a bunch of Army vets. Go through the cancer experience, get healed, and not know how to find a new life. Go back to their old life, and the second time around, the cancer killed them. All these things work a lot to get you past the trauma. But what do you do to keep from rebuilding the situation and reliving the situation that turned it on in the first place? You find a way, you find the wisdom to find a new future self and fall in love with it. Make it worth the struggle of giving up the old you. Does that fit what you said, Sean?
Yeah, that's a beautiful follow-up. That nails it. Absolutely. Have something to, as you were saying that, I got an image of, I saw this somewhere, like what we're doing. We took a wine glass, like red wine, so it's nice and easy to see, and then you start pouring water into it. It doesn't change to clear right away. In fact, it's surprising how long it takes, how much water you have to continue to pour in there, pour in there, pour in there, pour in there before it eventually begins to reflect this change that we have been introducing this whole time. And
Right.
what you're pointing to is so important. Like, we must be bringing something new and faithfully doing so every single day, kind of a thing. Bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it. Or else we slip back into an old rut. It's so easy
Right.
to slip back into an old rut.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
That's what induction is doing for us. It is the beginning of reprogramming the breaking of the habit of yourself. That's the goal, the intent, and the process of induction. And it's the secret sauce in all the healings, all the processes for the rest of this year of the 3 books. Because once you learn and you've mastered, well, you can sit down, move into that space, and let yourself just step into alpha. Let your heart be at peace. All these energies come in, and wonderful things start happening when that can be a regular expression for you. Well, I kind of stretch it when I said regular. I have days when I can't get out of beta. I mean, just like, and so I'm just being honest. But some days I can get into it and it's just like it's there. And wonderful, wonderful things happen.
And it's worth saying, early on in this, this seemed like something that I would never get my hands on. We're sitting here talking about, like, it's like trying to introduce your invisible friend to everyone else that can't see your invisible friend. Like, how do you go about doing this? How the heck do we point to induction and say, okay, here it is? Well, it's this invisible, this whole world that we've just didn't know was so real. But all of that said, so it felt really hard. It could be really frustrating to go into meditation and then come up against myself and feel like I'm failing. I'm not doing it right. We know better than to think that way. And yet, hey, if we
Oh yeah,
practice thinking
your
that
mind
way,
will accuse you. Oh my
sure,
goodness.
yeah. So it, like, all of that is resistance and discouraging. But here's what I would have loved to have heard someone tell me back when I was first starting to learn how to meditate, to learn what that was. The induction piece of it specifically. if it's problematic, if it's troublesome, if it's hard, if you are wanting to give up kind of a thing, maybe treat it like a game and say, look, because here's the reason why. It's not going to be hard forever. When you stay with it, when you're faithful to yourself day in and day out, you're worth it. So you're going to keep doing it no matter what it feels like. You keep doing that, eventually you're going to notice, oh, I'm starting to slip into alpha theta kind of without listening to Dr. Joe anymore. I just am there. And so it's finite. It's not forever that it's going to be that way, that meditation is going to be the struggle. Like you said, Ray, there are some days where, hey, beta is super high. And so, all right, we're up against ourselves and it's tricky, but it won't always be this like unknown, unfathomable thing that's just like, I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on. It won't always be like that. Promise, I promise, I promise.
Right. That bridge softens when you make a point of telling yourself, of your consciousness, telling your physical expression, I love you, each morning.
Yeah.
That gap softens because your body is on survival mode, and you're kind of like interfering with its survival mode. So you got to love it into softening, and you just tell it, I love you, Ray. And my survival mode goes, what? Mr. Tough Guy was like, I'm supposed to do what? And yet that was the key. It was just because it softened the resistance. That was a good word, resistance. Yeah, that's survival mode. It's programmed to resist. That's its program. That's its purpose. Resist. That was one big pain in the ass resistor. And I had to learn to overcome that and create flow in my life and just learn to love me. Love you first and the most. You love you. Make this you love. And then from that, let it flow out. Yeah, thank you, Sean. That was good. That was a sensitive little conversation. Glad you showed up tonight, buddy.
Same here.
Karina, I see your hand up.
Yeah, maybe someone can talk about how they feel. How do they know that they are in alpha?
I bet you Sean could give you a good answer to that. He's really good. Sean, could you get that one? How do you know when you're in alpha?
So when was the last time you were driving from here to there, wherever that was, or taking a bus or a train ride, and you got to where you were going and realized, wow, I don't remember any of the trip. You were in alpha. You were daydreaming. If you're looking out the window in class, not listening to the instructor, just off in our own mind, alpha.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Keep going.
Yeah. That's really, I think those are two solid ones. We could probably find some more. But does that help, or is it like, well, that's too easy and I still don't know what the heck, and I want to get a better grasp on it, Karina?
Have you ever mastered a skill so good you can check out and do it? Athletes do this all the time. Whether it's a runner or a golf swing, where the golfer comes up to the ball and he just checks out because he has mastered that swing, and he knows, he just looks at the ball and he's telling his mind, I want it to go 300 yards right that way. And he'll wiggle down and he no longer tells his body anything. He just says, there. And his body just down, whack. That's alpha. A dancer, practice a move, practice. I mean, it's work. Her feet hurt. But when it comes to the day of the performance, she puts away all the work and she moves in and she flows with the music. And what used to look like a struggle is beautiful flowing action that just flows with the sound of the music. Amazing how dancers can do those complicated moves and just look like a flow. You ever see them rehearse and you can see they look like they're in a gym going this and this and this and this until it gets in them. That's alpha.
Okay, so let me ask you, in meditations, doesn't matter if I'm lying down or sitting up, doesn't matter. At some point, I I'm just not there. So today I heard the perineum. So I did the breathing and everything, and I heard the perineum, and I don't know the second center, I don't know the third center, I don't know where I was, the fourth center, I don't know where I was, the fifth, I don't know where I was, the sixth, all of a sudden I was in a golden light, and I saw images, and I heard back the voice of Dr. Joe, right? And then I felt energy coming exactly to my hurting place in my body. um, and I started wondering, oh, hold on 1 second, I don't feel my arms, I don't feel my I know that the energy is sitting in my right foot, but and I feel the heat. But where was I? Was I in alpha where I was not there?
Oh
Or
yeah, it's that's classic, man. You checked out. You were somewhere in alpha or theta,
Theta,
and
yeah,
you were
right.
on cruise mode. I mean, that's beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
with
am I not supposed
a
to
little
be?
bit more experience, you'll have input. You were so checked out because of your lack of experience and skill, purpose and intention. You weren't having input. You were just there, sitting on the park bench of the kingdom.
Hmm. Okay, okay, see you on the bench.
I've been there. I recognize it because like, yeah, I've done that. It's just like I know I didn't sleep because I'm sitting upright and I come back and go, oh, like, oh, what happened to all these other energy centers in between? I'm in it. Yeah. Tiffany, thank you for being patient.
Hello. Long time no see.
Well, welcome to the party.
I've been out, but I don't know if it's helpful or not. But one thing I wanted to mention is for some folks who are having a hard time touching whatever it is that we're touching when we meditate, what I used to do, and I still do, because prior to working on Dr. Joe's teachings, I really loved to follow Eckhart Tolle. And so for those that have really active minds, I think that that's a great place to start.
He's a good teacher. I agree.
Yeah, I'm also a veteran, Army veteran. And so when I was in the Army, he's where I started. But one thing that he recommended was to focus on space, just like Dr. Joe does, but it was different. When he mentioned it, it was more like, just like right now I'm sitting in my dining area, and instead of focusing on objects like the table or the chairs around me, I can just focus on the space. And that sort of cultivates a sense of presence. And he didn't ever really talk about the field, or that, that's where, the information is. But he taught me that. And I think doing so has really helped me in the meditations connect to the space. So doing it with my eyes open, recognizing the spaciousness, lends to being able to connect to the spaciousness during the meditation with my eyes closed. So perhaps that will help some people. And, Dr. Joe's teachings are they're like active meditations in a sense. So,
Very much so, for sure. Yes.
right. So I think, maybe for people who are already kind of active minded, starting with someone like Eckhart or incorporating some of Eckhart's teachings, listening to him, might cultivate more sense of presence with the eyes open. And then it'll kind of take you further with the meditation when the eyes are closed. So I just wanted to share that, and hopefully that is helpful to someone.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. when I have days when I don't want the busyness of Dr. Joe's, I go to some sounds. I have a couple files of binaural beats, and they're just noise in my head. And because of the binaural in them, my head does different things. And another one I like is hand pan. And just no really rhythm, no real song, nothing, just this sound that puts me in a non-focused point. And that's the group. That's the whole idea, is to get out of your focus and just receive. Who is it was saying? And learn to receive the music. And just because handpan has no structure to it, it's just bing, bing, bang, bang, you know. And so you just learn to let it rain on you, like, and yeah. And when you're in that space, you just learn to experience the space. It's like one of the magics of walking meditation is to get the effect of spatial awareness as you walk. And you're walking, and there's no structure to the space. There's a tree here, a tree there, birds. And so there's no structure. You just want to be space awareness. And it takes you out of the busyness. And so that shuts down your analytical clinging to your past and the present. And you become very present, like you were saying with Eckhart Tolle. The whole idea is to get alpha wave in a very present state and just let yourself love in that moment. When you can learn how to just learn to let that inner part of you just say, I love, and just love. Odd things happen about your life.
Yeah, and I think you know, if we practice this, you know, we can come into a meditation. Like today, I hadn't been around for a few weeks, and so I didn't know that we are starting with meditation. So when I first turned on the meeting, I was late. So I think you guys were already, you know, at a higher energy center. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I can't really get in on the meditation because they're already at the next energy center. So I talked to my husband. He was like, go on, do your group. Every time you miss your group, you feel grumpy.
I can relate to that.
We were already at the throat chakra energy center. And but I was able to get in there. So I didn't even have to start from, you know, the sacrum or perineum. I was up here and I was already there, and I got the energy.
Yeah.
I received the energy, and I was thankful. I thought, wow, this is great to have experience coming in on it midway and still get a benefit.
That's experience and skill working for you. You get in, you join the crowd, and where are we? And you just tune in, move into that space, and you just go from there. That's beautiful. That's exactly what you get when you build that experience, so that you have the skill and say, where is it? There it is. And you just move, and your body just brings the energy and starts relaxing. The important thing is to realize that when you do this in a small way, every time you do that, you're bringing your energy in, and you are epigenetically, this energy being that is you is changing a little bit. And as it changes, you are giving different instructions to your DNA, and they will instruct for a little bit more energy to heal. This is science. This isn't woo-woo. This isn't mysticism. This is what the body does. You do that, like what she says, and you get in, and for that short time, you're giving your body, okay, it's time to start healing. It really does that. It's science now. I used to think that was all woo-woo, mysticism, and you had to, anyway. But now no, this is science stuff, just like she said. Wow, that was good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're just about done for tonight, I think. So be sure to practice your induction. We have a couple of weeks. And like I said, this is foundational. So having a couple of weeks to focus on induction until you can sit down and move into alpha, put it away. Some days you can't, some days you can. You get up, walk around your chair, a couple down, sit down, and you do it again. Start the meditation over until you can do it. It's worth. my YouTube channel. The name is simple. I'll just, instead of the link, let me tell you the name. To find me on YouTube, if you go to YouTube, open up YouTube, in the search bar, type in Race Quest Body and Mind, you'll find me. There'll be a black circle with an R in it. That's my page. The this year's link, this book is under Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself 25. The 25 represents this year. If you'll find one link that just says, if you go to the list, it says, there's different things, and one is a list, and there you can just search on Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself 25, and that's where you'll find this book. But the one I think you'll like is under that list playlist is one that just says Race Quest. That's where my short links are, and they're kind of interesting. Okay, Karina, one more.
Is it okay to say something about fear? Olga mentioned fear before.
Fear is a real thing. Sure, mention it.
Yeah, so just to share, I was experiencing lots and lots of fear with reasons and things like that, but it doesn't matter. And actually, I just want those people who experience fear and know that it's not real, but it doesn't matter because they still experience it. To remember that on some level, this is something that does something kind of beneficial to us. That's something from the past that helped us survive, as we are talking about every emotion that we want to overcome. And I listened a lot to Ray's advice and Sean's advice and other people's advices, Dr. Joe for sure, again and again and again. And the thing is, when you love, you cannot be in fear. So when people say love yourself, it doesn't make sense. How is this going to help me out? When people say forgive, I couldn't understand what Ray was saying for a long time. But when he says, just let it go, just forgive, and it's not about the other person. Oh, I thought it is about the other person. Oh, for sure it is. For sure it is. So with fear, there are all kinds of other emotions going on, like anger and hurt and all kinds of things and pain and whatever. And slowly, I kept doing what Ray says. And I love his thing of love is like turning on the lights on. So just lights on, and that's it. And love yourself, yourself, not anybody else. And in time, I discovered that not that the fear doesn't come, it does, but I can overcome this feeling of paralyzing fear much faster. And this is it. If you love, you cannot be in fear. So that's the thing, to practice love. Thanks.
Man, I am glad that got on the recording. That's my favorite conversation today. Oh my goodness. That was good. Thank you, Karina. Just,
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's beautiful, Karina.
thank you for sharing that, Karina. That was deep, hard stuff. And really, really, you're right. You just love yourself until you get free. And then you can live yourself without the work of it. Okay. It's time to say goodnight, everybody. Say goodnight, everybody. Good night, John.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Send
All
us
Bye.
send us some updates from the week long.
Okay, yes.
Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks. Remember, nothing, I'll be posting it in the WhatsApp. I hope those who figured out the link to the WhatsApp get invited in. Remember, they're gonna ask you, what's the passcode? And the passcode is Joe Dispenza. That's a passcode. Not, just well, anyway, that's a passcode. The purpose of this is to stop those automatic bots that are just bombing my WhatsApp page. That's the purpose, and I apologize. Locking doors are not for the good people. It's to keep the other people out of your house. And this inconvenience isn't because of the people that just are part of this beautiful conversation. It's for the people I want to keep out. So if you asked, what's the passcode? Joe Dispenza. No. All right. Good night, everybody. And I'll be posting stuff all on and off throughout the 2 weeks on my WhatsApp. I hope you can make it and find your way in. End recording.